Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I know, it has been a hot minute since I made a video, but I have a couple of explanations why. First and foremost, I went on vacation to celebrate my anniversary a few weeks ago, almost a month ago actually, and went to Disneyland and then proceeded to get COVID and spent basically a week dying, so that was definitely a thing. And then I'm actually going to be moving apartments here real short, so I've been really busy with packing and getting everything situated, but hopefully within the next couple of weeks I'll be back to a regular schedule. We'll be back to our regular, whatchamacallits. But with that being said, I'd like to tell you guys a little bit about flight schedule change. First and foremost, I will be only releasing one movie video a week, but there's a reason. I'm changing how I'm doing my movie videos because I feel like a lot of my videos have been lackluster at best. Mainly because I've been only doing like movie synopsises followed by 5-10 minutes of me telling you how I feel. So instead of doing that, I feel like I'm gonna contribute a little bit more, and where the synopsis was, I will instead make some funny jokes slash skits slash whatever it happens to be on a deeper dive into the movie itself, like how it was made, when it was released, how much money it made, so forth and so on, whatever it happens to be. That'll probably allow my videos to stay within the 10 to 15 minute range a lot easier. It'll be a lot more informative and hopefully a lot more entertaining. I will still give, my review of the movie. I'll still give, my personal opinions of the movie, whatever it happens to be. But I'm hoping to make a little bit more jokes and a little bit more of a connection with you guys, as I'm a huge movie buff. I love movies. I love watching how they're made, the people behind them, and how they're all Hollywood is just so interconnected and stuff. But with that being said, I've noticed that I think there's about 80% of you guys who are not subscribed. However, there's a lot of you guys who are coming back and watching my videos. So I'd appreciate it if you'd like, and I'd definitely appreciate it if you subscribed. I'm hoping that I can get to 500 subscribers by the 1 year mark of my channel. It doesn't look like I'm going to be reaching that 500 goal by the end of May, but that's okay. Hopefully we can get to 500 subscribers by my 1 year mark, which is in July, which gives us 2 months. I will be trying to post regularly, but I will do my best to try and keep you guys posted. I'll do, weekly announcements, give you guys a rough idea, and then potentially, if you guys want me to, I can do an apartment walkthrough. You'll get to see where I live. I think it is a good idea for me to stop rambling on in this intro and hop right in. So with that being said, today's movie that we're going to be looking at is 2006 Monster House. It is a 3D animation style movie that came out during the time period in which a lot of kids movies were diving into the horror genre. Like, you've got Coraline, you've got Paranorman, you've got Frankenweenie movie. And one thing that I noticed with this movie is it tried to follow that claymation style, but sticking to animation, likely to try and save money and time, since claymation typically takes forever, like years, to make one movie. It's got a very unique cast, ranging from actors like Steve Buscemi, who played as the Invisible Monster in Monsters Incorporated. He also played in Armageddon. He's played in a lot of things. He's a really good and very talented comedian and actor. It's got Maggie Gyllenhaal, who played as Z. She's also an extremely talented actress. It's also got Jason Lee, who I know from playing Earl from the show Earl. Like I said, very unique, very stacked cast when it comes to early 2000s, and it's one of those movies that you watch as a child and you're like, wow, this is probably one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen. After rewatching it the other day, I came to the conclusion that it is a really bad movie. Like, in my personal opinion, it suffers from a few things that I know 3D animations tend to suffer from, especially cheaper or older 3D animation. Like, there's an instance of what I like to term floating eye syndrome, where you'll have two characters talking to each other, but their eyes are like looking at three different directions. Like, I noticed it right off the bat with DJ's mom. This movie also, for some reason, even though it's a kid's movie, it has such a freaking dark tone to it. Like, the undertone of the whole plot of Nevercracker's wife being murdered but isn't actually murdered and actually just killed herself on accident, and then straight up murders children. So in order to keep children away, Nevercracker torments children. It's one of those movies where if you take a step back and you look at the story and you look at how it played out and how it works and how different people got to their place in the movie, it's really dark. However, it's played so cheesily. It gives me kind of 80s horror vibes, but like 80s slasher horror vibes, not good 80s horror vibes, which I feel like they did on purpose due to it being set in what I can only assume is the late 70s, early 80s. I'm not, like I said earlier at the beginning of the video, I won't do like a whole plot review, deep dive analysis. I will point out the fact that it is filled with memes. Probably one of my most favorites is the and I'll probably end up using that throughout the rest of the video. This movie had a budget of about $75 million and made $142 million worldwide, which in the grand scheme of things is a lot of money, especially for 2006 and especially for it being one of the earliest 3D animation movies, and considering the fact that it had such a unique cast from all of the different actors and actresses who played in it. Another really interesting fact about this movie, how I've been saying, you know, pretty old 3D animation, kind of junky, you know, little weird. To give it some credit, it was Sony's first ever computer animated movie, which is crazy to think about because of how many different movies Sony has recently put out that are either 3D computer generated or just animated in general. And it's definitely also kind of funny because the same movie that, in my opinion, did not age well and or wasn't all that great got nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, and they lost to Happy Feet, which I think was honestly deserved. Happy Feet was a pretty good movie for 2006. I don't know what the lineup for 2006 animated movies are though, so I guess I can probably figure that out and tell you which one is the best. But
funny how it turns out that everything can change.
In a lot of ways, this movie resonated quite well with me, considering the fact that I'm a huge, massive horror fan, and I love the fact that this movie kind of gives kids the opportunity to look at horror and enjoy it. It's like a gateway drug for horror. I love it. It's the same way with Paranorman, which I will probably cover a little bit later on this year. It is such, like, I'm shitting on the movie a little bit, but it is good in its own unique way. Animation, it's pretty bad. I'd give the animation itself probably a 5 out of 10. I'm not a huge fan of computer generated animation in general, but it's got some pretty janky animation every now and again. However, because of that, it has some really funny moments and some really good memery that is available in the process of making this movie. The acting, however, is pretty good. I mean, it's simple, it's kind of dry voice lines, but considering the age of the cast of DJ, Jenny, and Chowder when they were performing, they did a really good job. So with all of these things combined, and the fact that I have a little bit of a soft spot for this film, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. It is not good by any means, but it's not terrible. It's one of those movies that has a little bit of nostalgia to it. It's one of the first 3D, or I guess technically it's computer generated animation. I do know that they very much tried to copy the claymation style of like Paranorman and Coraline and copy that success, but make it cheaper by doing the computer animation and making it go by faster, because claymation, like I said, takes years to complete one movie.
It wasn't until editing the video that I discovered this movie came before Coraline, only by a couple of years. So Coraline was in production, but it still came in a couple of years beforehand.
Be sure to let me know in the comments down below what you think of the movie, what you think of my personal opinion, and whether or not you like the new style of video where I don't do a full-on synopsis of the film and I just basically tell you guys how I feel about the movie or my thoughts on the movie making process. If you'd like me to do a little bit more of an in-depth video on this movie, I can. There's not very much to go into. It was a computer generated or computer animated movie made in 2006. Super brief explanation. I might do a much more in-depth look at Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, depending on the response I get for this video. So be sure to leave a like if you liked. If you want me to continue to do the movie reviews with the synopsis instead of me going in and talking about the movie, let me know in the comments below. I personally was having a real tough time doing those and feeling motivated to do them, mainly because it didn't feel like I was contributing anything. I was just retelling the story, but in my own words. And contrary to how this video is ending up being, I actually stutter quite a bit. I do have a little bit of a lisp and have trouble talking sometimes. I think that is going to be the end of today's video. Like I said, for the third or fourth time, like the video if you liked, and please do subscribe. We are on that grind to 500 subscribers, and I really hope we can reach that by the end of July. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.